This question sounds like the plot of a sci-fi disaster movie. But what would actually happen if every single nuclear bomb on Earth was detonated at the same time? That means all warheads, whether hidden in silos, stored in submarines, or packed away in bunkers, would go boom instantly. Number warning, no politics, just one big moment of global chaos. So, how bad would it be? First, let's count how many nukes we're dealing with. As of today, the world has around 12,500 nuclear warheads. Some are massive, others small. But if we average them out, that's roughly 1 megaton per warhead. To put that into perspective, the bomb dropped on Hiroshima was about 15 kilotons. So each of today's bombs is about 66 times more powerful. Multiply that by 12,500 and you get the equivalent of 12,500 megatons or 12.5 billion tons of TNT. That's a lot. In fact, it's enough explosive power to trigger earthquakes, level cities, and possibly crack open the Earth's crust in some places. But we're not going to just detonate them randomly. No, for maximum drama and science, we'll set them all off in one place. Let's say we gather every nuke and bury them deep in the center of a remote desert. Maybe somewhere like Central Australia or an uninhabited part of Siberia. This is purely hypothetical, of course. Please don't try this at home. Once the countdown hits 0, the chain reaction begins. The first thing that happens is a flash of light, brighter than the sun, followed by an expanding fireball reaching temperatures of 100 million degrees Celsius. That's hotter than the core of the sun. Everything within a 50-kilometer radius is instantly vaporized. The shockwave flattens forests, mountains, and anything unlucky enough to be standing there. But now comes the real fun, the mushroom cloud. A single nuclear detonation sends radioactive dust high into the atmosphere. Now imagine 12,500 of them. The cloud would stretch into the stratosphere and possibly into the mesosphere. That's higher than commercial jets fly. The dust would circle the planet for years, blocking sunlight and plunging temperatures worldwide. Scientists call this effect nuclear winter. Global agriculture would collapse. Crops wouldn't grow. Temperatures would drop by several degrees Celsius. In some places, it could even snow in summer. Billions could starve. Entire ecosystems would be disrupted. Animals that depend on warmth gone. Coral reefs gone. Bees say goodbye. And then there's the radiation. The fallout from that many bombs would contaminate land, water, and air. Even places thousands of kilometers away could be affected. Radioactive particles would rain down in cities that had nothing to do with the explosion. Cancer rates would spike. The oceans would absorb much of the radiation, poisoning marine life for decades. But wait, it gets worse. All of this devastation assumes that we detonated the bombs on Earth. What if, instead, we set them off in space? Some people have actually wondered this. In 1962, the U.S. conducted a high-altitude nuclear test called Starfish Prime. It caused an artificial aurora and knocked out satellites. Now multiply that by 12,500. The explosion could fry every satellite in orbit, instantly ending GPS, weather tracking, the internet, and global communications. The electromagnetic pulsar EMP would be off the charts. Power grids would fail across entire continents. Imagine Earth in a global blackout. Not because the bombs hit cities, but because the sky went dark. Forever. Still not impressed? Okay, let's go even bigger. What if we took all the world's nukes and buried them at the center of the Earth? Assuming we somehow got past the molten mantle and didn't die instantly, the simultaneous detonation could release enough energy to destabilize the planet's core. It wouldn't destroy Earth. Planetary scale destruction needs a lot more than 12,500 nukes, but it could potentially trigger supervolcanoes or seismic shifts. Think massive earthquakes, global tsunamis, and the eruption of Yellowstone all at once. And now for the last horrifying twist. If even a handful of these bombs were placed near major cities, the death toll would be astronomical. Cities like New York, London, or Tokyo wouldn't just be flattened, they'd be erased in seconds. The scary part: this is not science fiction. These weapons exist right now. In submarines beneath the ocean, in silos beneath the ground, and in vaults behind reinforced doors. But here is the strange thing. Even though this scenario is terrifying, it also shows something hopeful. These weapons are so powerful, so dangerous, and so destructive that the only logical conclusion is to never, ever use them. They are tools of deterrence, not action. Mutually assured destruction isn't a joke, it's the silent agreement that keeps us all alive. So what would happen if we detonated every nuclear bomb at once? We would end human civilization, not with a bang in one city, but with a fireball so big, a winter so long, and a silence so complete that Earth itself might take centuries to recover. Let's not do that.